Okay, don't mind that I look like I'm crying. I got sunscreen in my eyes, so they're like kind of swollen. Uh, I am in pain though. My soul is in pain because it is super early in the morning, and I'm here to set up for Phoenix Flea, which is a biannual craft fair here in downtown Phoenix at Heritage Square. And this is my third time doing it. I like doing the November event versus the spring event, which I think is like March or February. But here, I've got the tent set up, I've got one table set up, but we gotta finish the rest. Okay, finally done setting up. Let me give you the whole tour. We're in this beautiful venue called the Pavilions with the ceiling like this, trees in this courtyard. And then I am set up over here on the side. This is my 10 by 10 setup, but they actually give you 15 by 15. So there's a little bit of space between each vendor, and I really love that. I have the tote bags up here, which are new, or the tote bags are not new, but this setup, having it here is a new setup. And I actually really like it because it's very front and center. I think it just kind of adds to the dimension of the whole tent. But I have my first little table here, my little display to try to entice people to come in. So my most popular things that are easy for people to buy are my stickers, where the small purchases for like kids or family or gifts. Sticker sheets. The first stand right here. I've got two more stands of mini prints right here. These squares I no longer sell. These are super old, but I found a whole like stack of them in my studio. I guess like after I moved, but yeah, so I'm selling these for super cheap. They're on sale. I just want to get rid of them. The knit bags right here, and then the print table here on the back. And I used to do a print wall, but because it's outdoors, it would just move a lot. And I think this is just easier, and people are more used to having like to sift through prints at craft fairs versus like artist alleys. So I have this set up like this, and I don't have all my prints displayed, but you know, as long as it looks filled out and nice, like usually someone will find something they like. I have my backdrop, which has gotten a lot of compliments, and then over here I have my shirts hanging up, so my classic Sundrop Big Shop delivery service, and this one is new. Well, you guys have been with me on this journey, but this is my toast shirt. It has a custom tag, Sundrop Shop, and my little toast bear, and then the sleeve, it's screen printed, and it has all these little icons, and this says pan. So toast, jam, honey, strawberry, egg, and this is supposed to be butter. But I love it. And then I have my sticker. I like that these are a giant sticker, so you can just slap on your body instead of having to wear a lanyard. I don't like lanyards. Just because the texture rubbing on my neck all day, I don't like it. And I don't like the ones that conventions usually hand out. I actually like the really cheap ones that are just like knitted cord or something, because the nicer ones that are like plastic and like print, the edges are quite sharp and it digs into my skin and it just like overstimulates me. I'm like, I don't like it. But pass here, slap it on, and I think this is my third or fourth one, so collecting them all. Today's vlog is going to be a little bit more chit-chatty, just because it's a slower market. I actually wouldn't say this is a slow market. This is actually a pretty good one, but because I'm vending solo, I just posted a Ask Me Anything on my Instagram, so you guys can keep me company. So if you're not following me on Instagram, please do, because sometimes I just like, asking for your guys' opinions, voting on stuff, or like just getting to know you, or if you want to get to know me. But I have a few questions coming in, and I think I'll just answer them as we go. So the first one is, what are 3 things you must have when you vend? So every event, I have always needed masking tape, binder clips, just like random things that I need clipped together, clipped on something, or to be propped up. And then also, of course, phone charger, because I blast through this thing watching TV and whatnot. So those would be my 3 must-have vending items. The next question I have is, what do you enjoy doing when you aren't making art? And honestly, it's watching content. If I'm not watching or browsing YouTube, I am rewatching a show for the 4th time probably, and so right now I am rewatching House. It's been a couple years since I've seen it, but I'm working through it, and I'm the type of person that will watch from like season 1 all the way to when the show finished. So it's going to be a little bit of a trek. It's a bit of a marathon. When I'm browsing YouTube, I usually stick to like the creators that I subscribe to. I'm not a huge explorer, but sometimes I like to go rewatch some of their old stuff too. So I just find it quite comforting. Okay, the next question is most fun or craziest booth story. And I actually don't get a lot of these. Like, even my friends will ask me, what's your craziest story? And I don't get a lot of crazies, period. I just think it's because most of the time I'm traveling with my partner, and so when he's with me, it's like people don't get weird. If you're a woman, you know. And I also don't cosplay because people also get weird about cosplay, unfortunately. But craziest is like, and it's not like sensational or anything, but I love when I see repeat customers, or that I see the same people year to year, because they only go to one event and I do that one event every single year. And so I feel like that feels really crazy to me because they remember me, or they came for me, so they claim. And I think I've talked about this before, but there is this one woman, and I remember the first year she came with her daughter to my booth at this event, Phoenix Flea. She came and they bought some prints, and it was really cute. And then the next year I saw her again, and the mom was by herself, and she let me know that her daughter passed. Her daughter really loved my stuff, so she wanted to get more. And this year, like literally about 30 minutes ago, I saw her again, and she was with family in the booth, and she told me that she has some of my stuff. I don't think she would think that I would have remembered her, but I did, and she bought more stuff because she said how much her daughter loved my stuff, and she just needs to get everything framed, and I get it. To me, that's my craziest experience, and in a way it's very wholesome, and I feel very honored to be part of the memory of her daughter. The next person asked, what's the most popular item that people buy? And I think I take meticulous record of all my inventory, and if you're asking about quantity wise, it would be stickers. I move a lot of stickers, but money wise, it would be my prints by far. I think my regular print size is pretty on par with my mini print size. Next question that came up, any business/marketing tips? Vending for the first time at a Comic-Con. Feel I don't have enough product. If you're talking about a physical event, my very first event was a tiny brand new market that they just started for the first time. It was in a water park parking lot. It was very strange and barren, but it did look really cute. I think the organizers did a really good job with what they were working with. And all I had were like a dozen stickers and maybe like 2 dozen mini prints that I had already posted to my social media that I just had printed on postcards. So it was literally 2 different kinds of products. And just make your branding really strong. Make your brand name or artist name really easy to find on social media, and also build your display up. And I mean that literally. Don't just lay everything flat on the table. Make sure your work is easy to see when a customer is strolling by, because I feel like every vendor only has like half a second to impress a potential customer. So it is really important that your table looks cohesive, strong colors, and the way, I mean, you don't need to use colors if black and white is your thing, but make it like stand out somehow in the way that you present all your work, and make sure that you look appealing to customers. Make your stand look like candy. It's like the grocery aisle. Everything is stacked up and nothing's laid on the floor first because that's very inefficient use of space. But if you start building up, putting things on layers and tiers, that makes it look a lot more tasty. So I would definitely recommend trying to build upwards. Okay, next. What do you think is your most underrated product? That's kind of hard. Thinking through everything, I don't think I have anything that is underrated or performs less well than other things. I do feel like I have underrated illustrations though. Some things I will spend so much time on that I really didn't need to. I'm super stoked about it and then I release it and then it just does very okay, which is a little disappointing. So I definitely think I have some underrated illustrations. Next person asked, what's your most successful event for you in Arizona? That one's really easy. For me, it has always been Phoenix Fan Fusion. It is the biggest con in general event in Arizona. That one I have always done pretty well at. And low-key, another one that surprised me a lot was Anime Arizona. I only did it their first year when they only had literally 20 artists in their artist alley, and the showing was really good, so there was just a lot of money going into everyone's pockets. I have heard since their first year that they have expanded a lot, and I haven't made it back since their first year because of scheduling, but usually with growth, everyone experiences growing pains, so there's just the money is just usually diluted when a con grows a lot, and they add more vendors and whatnot. So that's just something I would be aware of. But Anime Arizona was pretty good the one time that I did it, and then Phoenix Fan Fusion is the other very strong one, I would say. Okay, and next, how do you focus on building a brand without feeling like locking yourself into a specific aesthetic? I'm gonna answer this based on my experience as a digital artist. I'm assuming that you are also asking as a fellow digital artist, but I think the way that you can build your brand is to be consistent with your style and be confident in your type of style. So having a very recognizable and consistent art style combined with, drawing things that you naturally like, whether you want to be a food artist or a kawaii chibi artist or something like that, it's the easiest way to naturally build your personal brand. So if you have a consistent style that's recognizable, I would say that it's easy to pivot from drawing things of a certain aesthetic, like cute cafes, to pivoting to drawing like a dark street bar. But having it both contribute to your brand because you have this consistent drawing quality, so people can just take a look at something and be like, oh yeah, even though these two things are very different and very different aesthetics, in theory, it still fits and contributes to, for example, a Sundrop Studios brand. Using the same visual elements helps a lot. Color palette, line textures, flourishes, the way that you interpret light. Aesthetic versus brand is sometimes very hard to distinct. So I don't know. Sorry, this might not be the best answer, but I would say that your strong art style identity is what will help build your personal brand without being locked into a specific aesthetic. Okay, and we're gonna end with this question. What's your dream convention that you want to get into next year? Please, I'm on my knees. I would love to try out ASIN and Anime Boston. And you know what's funny is that even though I did Otakon and a lot of these East Coast cons are within the vicinity of each other, like it's pretty easy for people to go from one of these cons to the other. People will request me to go to ASIN or request me to go to specifically Anime Boston, sorry. And I'm just like, yeah, I would love to, but they have to let me in. It's not like I can just choose to go to these events. You have to apply, and then most of the time it's lottery or jury, it's just kind of a mix of luck. So yes, I would love to do Anime Boston though, and ASIN. It's the end. Got my wagon, got my hair up, gotta go home.